Well, the country's unemployment rate has reached a new high at 32.6%. More than 7.2 million people are now said to be officially unemployed. Business editor Devan Murugan is joining us now on the Midday View. Devan, good afternoon. As the economy becomes suffocated with the effects of COVID-19, this worsening jobless rate was expected.
Yes, good afternoon, Brad. And it certainly was. It was made an already dreadful situation even worse. Let's quickly unpack what's been happening here. As you mentioned, the unemployment rate now officially sitting at 32.6%. What does that translate to? 7.2 million people are officially out of work in the country. Number of reasons for that. You're quite right. The COVID-19 pandemic certainly exacerbated the situation. But South Africa had an anemic growth problem anyway. We were struggling to get this economy to create more and more jobs. So as more people started to enter the economy, more people also were left in terms of their job security. A frightening picture indeed, Bradan.
Well, Devan, of course, there's also the question of, we know people who've just simply given up looking for work. That's expanding that definition of unemployment. Does that picture look even more scary?
It certainly does. So we just mentioned 7.2 million people out of work. But when you consider those discouraged workers, people for one reason or the other that have stopped looking for work, this is the number that comes up, a percentage point of 43.2%. Again, what does that translate to? 11.5 million people are out of work in the country. Now, I mean, there are various reasons you would speak about as to why this is here, but economists often speak about the fact that the economic growth rate in the country is not keeping up with the population growth rate. Population is increasing by about 1.5, 1.6% a year. When you look at the economic growth rate, and that's sitting, Bradan, at about what? Last year we saw a contraction of 7%. This year it's expected to be around about 2.5% or so, depending how the year unfolds. Those two are not aligned. So more people are entering the job market. Some people are discouraged. And that number, 11.5 million economists say, is the number you really got to worry about. You could get some social upheaval there if that number continues to rise, Bradan.
Another number that we always watch when unemployment figures come out every year, Devan, or every quarter. So often it's that that's been described as a ticking time bomb. That's youth unemployment. Has this set of numbers for between Jan and March improved?
No, unfortunately not, and it is a scary one again. If you look at it, the official unemployment rate sitting at 32.6%. But look what happens to that rate when you consider the bracket of people between 15 and 24 years of age. That unemployment rate skyrockets to 63.3%. And just to give you a number here, that means 10.2 million people in that bracket are out of work. Now, we've seen efforts upon efforts come in from internships by government, the youth employment tax, creating the infrastructure drive, the economic recovery drive. But the time it takes to ease that number is getting worse. And the reason why you see that graphic jumping up and down with those icons there, because it is, as you suggest, Bradan, a very restless part of the population. There are more people leaving school, more people entering the tertiary side of education. The question is whether or not what they have in terms of their skills is aligned with the economic needs and whether or not the economy is there to absorb them. Despite the interventions, South Africa still has an anemic problem.
Yeah, Devan, thank you very much for that. Before you go, I just want to put a request in as you continue analyzing these latest unemployment figures. That youth number, 63.3%, I can bet you my bottom line, more than half of that, it's young women.
Yes, indeed. And in fact, when you go through the unemployment stats for this last 3 months or the first 3 months of the year, it actually spells that out. We're looking through the documents, but it has highlighted the fact that the biggest casualty, if you like, of unemployment is indeed black women in South Africa. And those details will be coming up.
And that's not a good number to know, but thank you very much. Devan Murugan, of course, from the Money Desk here at eNCA, they'll continue this afternoon to unpack the significance and the meaning of all these figures of unemployment. Not a pretty picture.